What's going on, everybody? It is Jay here again, your commissioner of the WPL. We're talking Season 4 today. I've got one of the coaches from Season 3 and Season 2. Currently in the playoffs, finished number 2 seed, Kyogre Canucks. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I just got one of those other ideas while I was at home, and I had to make a video, as we all know. So new season coming up. We're in the playoffs right now, and we probably won't release this until maybe a little later because we're not done the season yet. But Season 4 is upon us. It's coming. Half the league is prepping for next season. Half the league's still finishing off this one. So the big change for Season 4 is everyone gets a Mega. What's a Mega? I started doing doubles this season. Well, Megas were very, very big in what's it called? Gen 7, Gen 8. A lot of the times they were not included in the format, and then they were added later along with restricteds, blah blah blah. But we're adding them to Season 4. Everybody gets one, and a lot of people don't know what the hell these things do. So that's what we're here for. We're going to talk about each one of them. We're going to talk about which ones are going to go early. We're going to try to make it draft league specific. So we're going to kind of compare them to their original forms compared to the Mega version. Obviously, in Season 4, you can't max your Mega, so not being able to double your HP and get base 130 attack moves is kind of a detriment, but might not be so much for some, which we're going to touch on. So we also want to see what's going to be value picks, because we think some are going to go early, the better ones. We'll go over those. Some that I'm not a huge fan of, and we're just going to talk about it. And we've got a nah column. It's like, don't pick this. Just, if you, hey, go for it. But we were talking a little bit before the video, and we were kind of saying, you know what, all of these could work. I think it's safe to say each and every one of these, like even the ones in the nah column, you can make them work. So yeah, so just keep in mind, this is our opinions. You know, me and Kyogre, we're just going to be talking what we think works. If you prove us wrong, that's another thing. Mention in the comments if you disagree with us, and also show us on the field. You know, that's another thing in Season 4. If you want one of these things, go for it, try it, see if it works, and we'll see how it plays out at the end of the season. So Mr. Kyogre, where would you place Venusaur? Let's go with the three starters. Let's do Blastoise, Charizard, Venusaur, the two Charizards, of course. Where would you throw these three guys?
Well, starting off with Venusaur, I think, as we were discussing earlier, you lose the speed boost with chlorophyll being replaced by thick fat. And while it's really helpful for bulk purposes, getting rid of the fire and ice weakness, in a sense,
yeah, losing two of its weaknesses, yeah.
You're losing a lot of offense, so I'd have to put it somewhere between the meh and nah.
Who picked these categories? Yeah, like
somewhere around there.
I agree with that. When it comes to Venusaur, it's got what, 4 weaknesses: Psychic, Fire, Ice, and Flying. If there's one I'm forgetting, let me know. No, ground is neutral. So yeah, by having an ability to basically remove 2 of those weaknesses is really nice, but in a Dynamax format, that Airstream is just so deadly. And the fact that it can't max, it doesn't get a G-Max Vine Lash as well for the residual damage. It can't get the fast Sleep Powder off. So it again, everything will work in a sense. It's just a matter of what will work best. I think it definitely takes a step down from the G-Max format. I think some people might be wanting to go for regular Venusaur. I kind of agree with that. In between kind of the nah, I wouldn't say nah, because Venusaur's still got Sleep Powder and fun things like that. I've seen some sweet scent stuff. So I'd throw it in the meh column. Like, is that safe?
Yeah. And something that we were also discussing earlier is with the surgence of psychic terrain in particular, and expanding force, it also makes it more difficult for it to be a defensive wall. Because back in 2015, 2016, you'd see it just sit there, sort of like how Ferrothorn is, but as soon as you introduce psychic terrain, Tapu Lele, or even something like G-Max Hatterene, it becomes a little more difficult to really deal with.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that too. And a psychic terrain with expanding force is so prominent, right? Like obviously it's draft league, so you're not facing that every week, but yeah, like a max mindstorm, and things like that. It's just yeah, it's just so hard to this season's going to be so ridiculous. By the way, everybody, we don't know what we're getting into here. We Dynamax with Megas. I don't think any of us have seen it. We've messed around with it, so we're probably wrong on every one of these decisions, but some people might agree or disagree. So we'll just kind of start with that, and I promise you not every one of these selections will be this long. So I think Venusaur is probably safe there. It's okay. It could work. Meh is basically, yeah, you can make it work. I do think it gets worse, though, so we will definitely talk about that. Next, let's do both Charizards. First of all, which one's better, Charizard Y or X?
Charizard Y, 100%. Setting up Sun and being able to be such an offensive, fast presence, I say it's easily one of the best options.
Yeah,
for Mega.
It lost Tailwind last year or last game or Gen 7. So there's that. But at the same time, getting Sun up immediately on a switch in, and not to mention, by the way, if you go in as a regular Charizard, you can't actually Mega until the first turn starts. So if somebody decides to switch in weather to counter your weather, you haven't even set your Sun yet. So once you max or Mega, you actually get it after the turn begins. So counters to switch in to change the weather can't work turn 1, which we'll get into with Ttar and Abomasnow and things like that because they're really nice as well. But yeah, I do agree because it could either just be a nice Torkoal that does a lot of damage, or it could just set the Sun like Torkoal does, or it could just blast a Heat Wave off in the Sun with 150 whatever special attack, right? Which works out to be, let me see, Charizard. I think it's 150 something. Yeah, 159. That's insane.
Yeah.
And 100 speed. It hasn't changed.
Is going to hurt anything, especially in the Sun. Like, I don't really see even if Tyranitar's in the Sun, it's getting a healthy amount.
Hard. Yeah, it's getting hit pretty hard. Yeah, so I'd throw that there as well. I looked into Charizard X, and I remember saying I was talking to a guy before we started, and it was I was saying that Charizard X is like the forgotten Charizard. It's kind of hidden behind this one. The Dragon typing isn't great for it. It does lose the flying typing, so it's not 4 times weak to anything. But with Tough Claws, this thing hits so hard. We're doing some calcs. It just obliterates things. So I want to throw this in the value pick tier, just because I don't think people are looking at it. And if they are, I apologize. It's got like 130 something attack and special attack, so it can be used on either side of the offensive field, right? So you can use it either way, but the fact that it gets Tough Claws, it just hits so hard, and I also think you can get this fairly late in the draft as well. So yeah, I just think no one's looking at this, so hopefully after this video people are.
Something else I was going to add is also it gets a lot more bulk too. So not only are we using the...
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it's gaining quite a bit of physical defense. So I know support Mega Charizard X has been used in 2015, 2016. So that's something that can definitely be used again. Because you get fires, you get your Will-O-Wisp, you get...
Will-O-Wisp, yeah. It can belly drum as well.
To just get stuff out. You can belly drum. You can stab breaking swipe to lower both opponents' attack stats.
It can D-dance too. Holy crap.
You have a lot of different options that you can do. So
could you guys imagine D-dance and then a Tough Claws boost?
Oh yeah, Tough Claws, D-dance, Flare Blitz.
One-turn setup. Yeah, Flare Blitz is its main attack when it's in Tough Claws. That was the calc we did, and it was just insane. So yeah, not to mention if there's Sun on it, we won't even get into that. I don't think Charizard suffers. It's just a different kind from losing Dynamax and Gmax. Yeah, it loses the residual wildfire damage it normally gets, but we're going to have 3 Charizards running around this season. We're going to have the regular tiered Charizard, and we're going to have 2 in the Megas. So we'll have to see how that goes. Blastoise, unfortunately, I want to throw this in the nah column.
I agree.
And again, it doesn't mean this thing's bad. I just think that compared to its compared to its G-Max form, compared to like it's just its defenses get a little bit better. Its special attack gets actually a lot of bit better. And it gets the Mega Launcher, which boosts the pulsing moves and things like that, like Water Pulse, Aura Sphere, things like that. I just think that it doesn't get enough of a mega boost as the other ones get. So that's why this one, I feel like I'm hurting its feelings by saying this, and I'm justifying it. But yeah, I would just throw that in the nah column just because Blastoise does Blastoise things, and this just gives it a bit extra damage. So
It's going to also add one thing that I personally find with using Mega Blastoise is, yeah, Water Pulse is nice.
It's only 65 attack or base damage, whatever.
Yeah, but I just find Scald is overall more is a little bit better overall.
Which it does get, which is kind of nice. Yeah, Scald's just such a nice move. Maybe Blastoise can find a move on a rain team, like it gets like Weather Ball, it gets water, like not Water Pulse. It gets what's it called? It can Scald in the rain, gives us a little extra damage, things like that. So yeah, I think you can find a home somewhere. But moving along, just because it looks like we have 100 of these. By the way, everybody, the NA column, these Pokemon are not in Sword and Shield, so don't be looking at them. They don't exist. So yeah, we're not even going to tier those. They're not in the game. We could if we want, but we're not going to until Sword and Shield or Game Freak smartens up and adds them. I'm just going to throw Alakazam in the top tier. I'm not even going to ask.
Expanding Force. Expanding Force and those stats.
So first of all, it goes. Is it better? I don't think anybody really maxed an Alakazam, so I would say yes, it gets better because it didn't need the max before. It gets 30 points faster on the base, and it gets 35 special attack better. This thing, if you get in DD Alakazam, you're just running through teams. When I was testing with it, I was running into issues when I had Trace, because that's the Mega Evolution ability. I was tracing Grassy Surge, and I was tracing moves that actually wasn't allowing me to Expanding Force. So other than that, I would say this is a pretty safe pick. 5 spoons. What a Game Freak. What are you doing?
More spoons, more power.
Yeah, Gigantamax Alakazam. Let's give it a 7th spoon. Like, I don't know. So yeah, that's just safe to say. We don't really need to go into that. Mega Alakazam's ridiculous. So Slowbro, I don't know a lot about Mega Slowbro. I know its defense goes way up. And I know it's a defensive tank. I just know its move pool is excellent. Do you have anything to say about Slowbro? Mega Slowbro?
So I really like Mega Slowbro. One of the main things that I will say is I'm not as big of a fan of its special defense. Its physical defense, 180, that's insane. But that 80 special defense, especially with, you have a bunch of Dark Pulse users, Snarl, I have to put it in the meh. Yeah, it's nice.
I would agree with that. Like, I remember one of the other players were talking to me about Mega Slowbro. I think its ability is just, again, meh. Its defense is really good, but you can't throw an item. That's the problem with some of these Megas is you can't throw an item on them. So, like, you can't benefit from an AV. You can't give it leftovers, so you can stall and things like that. So, yeah, and it just looks stupid. Just look at it.
One of the better things about Mega Venusaur as a stall compared to Mega Slowbro is that at least Venusaur gets Leech Seed, so it can get some recovery back and chip away. Slowbro has to rely on Slack Off
or Slack Off, and yeah, like its stalling capabilities are okay. The base 30 speed is nice. I guess that stays the same from Slowbro, but it could set Trick Room, things like that. So again, it could fit a role on someone's team. Both of us seem to agree that it's just like meh. Hence the name of the column or the row. Mega Gengar. I think this thing is going to be the biggest pain.
Perish Trap is, if you can prep, if you're well aware of how you can properly deal with a Perish Trap team, then it becomes a little bit easier to deal with. But the thing is, Mega Gengar is good beyond Perish Trap too.
Oh yeah, it's is it okay? I don't know. This is basically
it's okay.
Yeah, and you know what? Decent bulk too. 80 and 95 is better than it was, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like all I have to say is draft a ghost type. Everyone needs a ghost type on your team just so you can switch out because Shadow Tag doesn't affect that. I ran a Parastrap team, and yes, I know everybody hates me for it, but I did get to Master Ball tier on cart with a Parastrap team, and it was a lot of fun. But I bet a lot of people threw their switches. So yeah, if you like a fun team, Parastrap is a lot of fun. Mega Gengar, it hits so hard with 170 base special attack, and its move coverage is insane. It is insane. It hits everything. Everything. And it gets support with Icy Wind as well. And so obviously you got your Stab, Shadow Ball, things like that. But it gets electric. It gets it doesn't get ice, which is crazy. Sludge Bomb, Psychic, Dark Pulse, Focus Blast, Energy Ball, D-Gleam. And then support, it can get Taunt, it can get Skill Swap, just mess things around like that. But you can't switch, so don't Skill Swap. It can Nasty Plot and make it even higher, its special attack. So Trick Room, not to mention Imprison, Will-O-Wisp. Like it does so many things. I think this is going to go nice and early in the draft, and it just looks super cool. So,
one thing you might have to worry about there is if the opponent has an Urshifu.
Yeah, Urshifu. Thank God there's only 2 running around. I guess only one of them gets Sucker Punch. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think Mega Gengar would be awesome. If anybody wants it. This is a controversial pick. What the hell's that thing? Kangaskhan. So you and I were disagreeing a little bit before but I think in the end, well, first of all, let me ask whoever's watching, what do you guys think of Mega Kangaskhan? Awesome, right? Amazing. It was patched. It was so many times they nerfed it. Blah blah blah. Let's look at Mega Kangaskhan for a second. So Mega Kangaskhan was broken because it used to get moves like Power Up Punch. It used to get Seismic Toss. It basically get a +2 with 2 hits right off the bat. But it doesn't get that anymore. It's first of all, its stats are okay. Basically looks like a poor man's Dragonite to me, minus the speed. But its typing's obviously great for a normal type. It hits twice. If anybody didn't know. Parental Bond gives it 2 attacks. The second attack hits 25%. Yeah, so basically you're getting 125% on all your attacks, so it's okay, right? This is not bad. What moves can hit twice? It used to get Seismic Toss, like you were talking about. Sucker Punch is really nice. Fake Out's kind of nice, but you don't really need 2 of those. It used to get Seismic Toss, so it'd get for 100 damage guaranteed. Obviously, if it was not a Ghost type and things like that. But I don't see it being great. I don't see anyone making Kangaskhan great again. Drain Punch would be really cool, but I think it's average. What do you think?
I think it still has some niche roles. One thing to also note is
coverage. Jeez.
Any sort of spread move does not get the second hit. So that's something very important to note.
Oh, so an Icy Wind won't hit twice?
No, it will not hit twice.
It's funny because I was literally, as you said that, thinking about Icy Wind double -2 speed. That would be really nice, actually. But you're saying it doesn't do that.
No, any sort of spread move, because I remember I tried running Bulldoze for that reason back in 2015, and it wasn't able to. I tried it again in Gen 7, still wasn't able to. I was like, that's a little disappointing.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. Because if you think about it, if Parental Bond is kind of simulating, Kangaskhan and its kid attacking, right? Like one then the other. So if you're attacking both sides of the field, you think one hits one hits the other. So that does make Game Freak sense, I guess.
Yeah. I think that Mega Kangaskhan is in value pick. While people still have an idea of what it does, it still has a lot of versatility with it being a Gen 1 Pokemon, and they just gave Gen 1 Pokemon everything.
Yeah, so, that's fair. Yeah, I think I was going to put it in a tier in between value and meh. I don't think it belongs with these guys, but I also don't have another tier. So I'm okay with putting it in value pick. Value in a sense that people might be thinking along the lines of me saying, it's not great anymore. Which means people might be ignoring it. I was just looking as well. If you have a Justified Mon and you use Beat Up, would that hit more than 4 times? It might. I'm not sure.
I'm not 100% sure about that because I never really tried that out.
If you want to draft Kangaskhan, look that up. I think that could be decent. Drain Punch, double healing might be kind of cool, but again, the second hit only does 25% and only heals 50% of what you do. So that's why I think it's meh, you know. But let's throw in the value pick because I think you can do some fun things that we just are not aware of right now. That hit twice, it could be fun. But yeah,
Or even with the flinch potential of double bite, I know that ran around quite a bit in early 2015 VGC, so that's something that you can also look at. Be a little annoying to deal with, but
yeah, double bite. Could you imagine losing to double bite flinching all the time? Like, if
I've lost to that more times than I want to admit.
Yeah, I think this season's going to be a lot of fun with the creativity and stuff like that. Mega Pincer, honestly, I would put this. It does get Aerialate as its mega ability, so it gets. I was actually thinking we were looking earlier today, so we have to look at the concept of Mega-ing. So when the match starts, you are not Mega'd. We all know that, right? But by explaining it this way is everybody's like, oh, Mega Pincer, Aerialate. No, Mega Pincer, Hypercutter, Mold Breaker, Moxie turn before it Megas. So one thing that Mega Pincer would benefit from is an Intimidate. So match starts, you lead Incineroar on your side, I've got Pincer on my side. Hypercutter makes it so I'm not intimidated. So I don't get my -1. Then I max next turn and possibly obliterate something on the other side of the field with the Mega, which is pretty crazy. 155 base attack, 105 speed is respectable, and Aerialate. So some people don't know this. Aerialate doesn't just make normal moves flying. I thought it did until looking into this because not many things get it, the Aerialate. But it gives a 20% boost. So Refrigerate, you get Pixelate, and then Aerialate. So you can use like Return, you can use Hyper Voice, things like that. But it gets a 20% boost on top of your stab, which is actually kind of neat. So it could do a lot of damage. I just think that this thing might take a bit to get going.
If I'm not mistaken, does it still get Quick Attack?
Quick Attack could be fun. Let's see. It does. So yeah, that would be kind of cool. Quick Attack would do some decent damage.
Because I know one strategy that I've seen used a lot with Mega Pincer was you'd have your Pincer in the back, you'd weaken your opponent, have Pincer with Moxie. You get them really low, and you have a Tailwind on your side. Earthquake, clean up the other side of the field, +2 right there.
Yeah.
Or Rock Slide or whatever you feel like running. And then
next turn, Mega the next turn. Yeah.
Mega Quick Attack, and something's getting hit hard.
And that's the thing, too. Like, everybody has the ability to Mega whenever they want. So the rules, just in case anybody doesn't know, is you have to carry the Mega Stone. You do not have to Mega it. It has to hold the stone. So, like, say, for example, we'll get into this a little bit later. So we've got some here that benefit with both forms. You can have the non-Mega and the Mega kind of going around. They have different abilities, and based on what you need in the moment, you can Mega or not, right? So that would be a situation. 2 examples from both of us how you can use both, right? You get the Moxie boost, and then you Mega the next turn, and that's a pretty decent setup. So, so where do we throw Pincer? I would have it in the nah, but I guess based on what we were saying, meh. Meh.
Yeah, if it were to be like tiered, I'd put it like lower meh.
Yeah, lower meh. Let's put it here. Let's rate it 1 and up. So like the higher ones. Actually, no, the best ones will go on the left. So I'd say Venusaur is probably the best in this tier so far.
Yeah.
Charizard slightly better than
Pincer, slightly above Slowbro.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, Slowbro's. I know one guy that's probably just cursing right now. He's like, Slowbro's amazing.
This isn't singles. You can relax.
Oh no, it's not a singles guy. I'll tell you after.
Okay.
Okay. So Mega Gyarados. I think Mega Gyarados gets slightly worse. That's my opinion. What's your take on Mega Gyarados?
I think Mega Gyarados is one of the best ones here.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people underestimate Gyarados, but when you're looking at max flying, that's really the main thing that I'd give regular Gyarados is it can Dynamax and it can do max flying shenanigans.
Mm-hmm.
However, Mega Gyarados, you still have the max flying. You have a much higher attack and special defense. I think overall its bulk gets a good increase.
Wait, you didn't say
And,
he gets max flying, right?
no, I was saying for regular Gyarados gets max flying.
Yeah.
So, but still, you can, even if you do a set like Waterfall, Crunch, Dragon Dance, and Protect, there's not too much I want to take that.
Yeah, my concern is just with the speed. Like it's still it didn't change. It gets more bulk, which is kind of nice, but yeah, it gains weaknesses. When it megas. Now it's weak to fairy. Now it's weak to bug. Now it's weak to fighting, things like that, and now it's weak to grass. It gains some more resistances, and I think in a max format, I think it's good. I think Mold Breaker is like, yeah, Mold Breaker is great. You don't have to worry about Storm Drain and stuff like that, and it's kind of cool in that sense. But I just think it in a Dynamax format, yes, these things were great and used to have glory, but in a Dynamax format, a lot of these things just get KO'd, and unfortunately, it's a safe attack going into it with knowing it won't have a Focus Sash for sure. It's not going to have a Pinch Berry. It's not going to have resist. It's no AV. You don't have to worry about any of that. So that's why I think this thing might get worse. At least a Gyarados, it was like, hey, keep in mind, Gyarados does get Intimidate before it megas, like as we were talking before, using both abilities, like have Intimidate, you go in, then you mega. Now your special defense just went from 130 to quite substantially higher than that. So I do think it's got some use. I wouldn't put it top tier, would you? I'd throw it like a solid pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd probably put it in solid. So I definitely think, yes, it does have a lot of weaknesses. And one of the things that also makes it nice is it's not as weak to Electro Web.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Electro Web for speed control was you can't switch. First of all, it would just die.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, you don't have to mega it. Say it's a situation you're up against a Raichu or something like that, and it's just gonna, it's gonna electric attack into you, and it's just like, okay, I'll mega. That way, it's only a single weak attack, or only 2 times super effective. But say you're in front of, I don't know, a fairy type, it's just like they're thinking you're gonna mega, you could just choose not to, and its special defense before it even mega evolves is respectable. So being 100, it's actually not bad. It would eat that hit pretty good, and you can win a game in a turn, or better yet, you can lose a game in a turn. So if you don't mega, you obliterate, say, for example, that Gardevoir, which is fairly weak on the physical side. It's expecting to get a Moonblast off, KO you. Meanwhile, you don't mega, and you KO it. So there's some mind games to be played with this. I think Gyarados has a place. I think it's because it doesn't get an Airstream, it kind of gets a little worse, but I do think it's still a solid pick because it gets a lot of moves that are really good for it. And Stab Crunch is always nice, right?
Oh yeah.
Aerodactyl. I think this thing's fairly solid. Yeah. I think everybody I've been talking to thinks this thing's great. I was going to throw this in the solid pick, but it could be top tier. What do you think? And we can talk about it in a second, but
while yes, it's really fast, it hits really hard, I feel like it just doesn't utilize its Tough Claws ability nearly enough. Because you have Aerial Ace, I don't think it has any Stab Rock moves that it can
oh yeah, Rock Slide is distant. Yeah. Like it's yeah, that's the problem, right? Like you could have a great ability, but it doesn't really benefit from having it, such as Rotom Fan. We won't get into that.
Are you saying you don't like Rotom Fan with an air balloon?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. It does 3 times extra flying damage for all those reasons.
Yeah.
No, I think this thing could be really good. If you wanted a fast Tailwind setter, I think this thing could do a great job. And if you sleep on it, you can hit it really hard. Its defenses are okay. 80, 85, 95 is decent. 150 speed is the standout because not many things get up to that high, especially with no restricteds. But yeah, I think it's got a bunch of weaknesses, but I just think it serves a role. I think Aerodactyl can serve her well. I think it's a solid pick, in my opinion. I don't know if it's value, maybe value. Just because it doesn't hit quite as hard.
Solid.
Yeah, solid. I think Aerodactyl's always kind of threatening, so this just makes it a little better. I think it gets better in this format. So, and it was a good pick before. So yeah, I'd say solid.
If it still had Skydrop, I'd be over the moon with it.
Skydrop. Mega Steelix. This thing, let's just say it has some defense.
It is a very defensive child.
And then we're gonna go into something after that. We'll go into Mega Agron next after that, just because they're kind of similar in that sense. But Mega Steelix, holy crap!
Has a bit of bulk.
Yes, it gets body press. Everybody, 230 defense. It's not stab body press, but it still does a ton, and it gains what Steelix has been lacking. Is a little bit of special defense. So 95. I think it gains some HP as well. Let's just double check.
No Megas gain HP.
75? I thought it was 80. Did it? No, it stays. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Yeah.
It gains a bunch of special defense, which is really nice. Its typing is just ridiculous. If you don't have a steel type on your list of drafting, put one. It's a solid switch in for all of these red things. And grayed out. So what is that? 9, 10 resistances. You get a steel type. I think Steelix is a great Pokemon. If you're unsure of what Mega to get, I would grab this thing. Steel Ground is really nice. It could just switch in on so many things, and a body press. Not to mention if you Iron Defense. Yeah. Or next, you could always pair this with your max. It can't max itself, but say for example you max Quaked next to it. Now it's got a +1 special defense. A lot of these things can't boost their stats by maxing themselves. Actually, all of them, not some. But your max next to it can boost your Mega. If your Mega is lacking in a stat of some kind, you can Mega next to it. Sand Force. It gets the boost from Steel, Rock, and Ground. So I just think this thing could be really, really good. It needs the right support, like a lot of these. But Steelix is a solid pick. And Trick Room. Yeah. 30 base speed. Yeah, I ran unfortunately no weakness policy. You can't. I used to run one with weakness policy and it was really good. But yeah, the trick with, here's how you use Steelix, everybody, just in case you're unaware. You put it in the back. You find out what they have that can kill your Steelix. You kill it and you win.
Yeah, pretty well.
Yeah, you run into something that is a threat to Steelix, such as, say, I don't know, like a Charizard or something like that, or something that can hit it on the special side with a weak attack, or like an Earth Power or something, or Water Attack Inteleon could really hurt it. Kill the Inteleon, and Steelix just wins. It's as simple as that. So Mega Steelix could be awesome. I think, I'd throw it in the value pick or the solid pick.
I'd say value. Value feels more appropriate.
Yeah, like we're gonna have plenty in the solid pick because we have some that are just not quite up to top tier and they're well known, like Gardevoir and things like that. Well, we'll get into those. I did say I want to go into Mega Agron next. Mega Agron, nobody really knows about Mega Agron. So Agron is Rock Steel. And if we look down to the weaknesses, it has a 4 times weakness to ground, 4 times weakness to fighting, and 2 times weakness to water. Yeah, it has a bunch of resistances, but when you can kind of get ruined by 1, 2, 3 different types, a bullet punch is going to do a crazy amount of damage to you. Yeah, it has 180 defense, but it's lacking special defense. Not the best tier for Trick Room. It works, say you're facing a slow team. Nobody picks it. Let's just say that.
I was going to say, especially since those are 3 of the most common types too.
Oh yeah, close combat. Yeah, everything's got it. The bonus from Mega Agron is it loses its rock typing, so now it only has 1.5. Is that right?
That because
the ability. Yeah. Ability. See, I was gonna get into the ability after, but this stupid website. So now now that this is the Mega version. Special defense up a little bit, defense up a lot, just like Steelix, exactly the same. Better attack, 5 less HP. It's a little quicker, but I think Mega Agron is in my value pick column because Yeah, it's weak to ground. A lot of ground attacks are physical. Fighting is all physical. Fire is usually on the special side for the most part, unless it's a Flare Blitz. But first of all, look at all those resistances. And unless you're getting an Earth Power or a Focus Blast. Who runs Focus Blast? Some people might, but with the accuracy, it's so weak, or it doesn't hit. I think this thing could just clean up. Not to mention, does it get like? Let me see. Does it get Swords Dance? Could you imagine? If it does, I might be picking this.
I don't think it gets Swords Dance, but I think it might get Curse.
No, it doesn't get Swords Dance. It does get, oh my god, Curse with body press. Yeah, but like I was saying when we were talking about Steelix, say you wanted to give it an attack boost, you just max knuckle next to it with, say, your Cinderace or something like that, or whatever it might be, and yeah, this thing could just wreck things. Again, you kill its friends, but just pure steel. There's not a ton of them. First of all, they usually steal something. Filter, just cutting your super effective moves. This is basically a Rhyperior, but 2.0, right? Because Solid Rock does about the same thing. So yeah, I think Mega Agron's awesome. Yeah, I might be adding this to my list, but we'll see. So value pick for sure. So if you haven't been sure about what you're going to pick, this value pick tier is pretty good. We got to fly. We got so many of these things left. Holy crap. Scizor, you and I both agree on this. We don't need to look them all up. Mega Scizor gets Technician. It already has Technician. It can't max. Still 4 times weak to fire. Yeah, it gains a little bit of defense, but I don't think it really gains anything.
Like, its main thing was Bullet Punch, and with how prominent Psychic Terrain is, whether it's set up through Dynamax Pokemon or Indeedee or Lele, it's really hard to really justify.
And Queenly Majesty and all that crap. So, like, 140 defense and 100 special defense is nice, but that's 75 speed. Yeah, you can Airstream next to it, but I just don't think this thing hits hard compared to everything else. Technician's nice, but it already has it. So I think this thing gets worse. I would put this in the I wouldn't put it in the nah column. I'd put it in the meh column. You think?
I'd say nah.
Nah. We might move some stuff around later, but I do think it's a little better than Blastoise, though.
Yeah.
You might disagree with me on this, but Haircross has the highest. Well, you can't disagree with this. It's just fact. It has 180 base attack, which is the highest out of all of these. I don't think anything other than Kartana, or like if something gets like 200. I think it's the what are those Deoxys and stuff like that? Those crazy ones. This has the highest attack out of everything. I'm pretty sure. Am I right?
Yeah, I believe so.
181 is Kartana, I think. So this is 180. But the thing that this thing has is it has Skill Link. Skill and not to mention, it's not like one of those Game Freak really crappy abilities that it doesn't benefit from it. Haircross does. Haircross gets all of them. So first of all, just in case you're unaware, 185. So it does have the highest attack. Holy crap. Respectable defenses, 80, 115, 105. 4 times weak to flying, so that could hurt it in the end. Psychic, it's not super common. It is, and it isn't, it is, it isn't. But yeah, it gets, what is it? It gets the, where is it here? It gets space 25. So Pin Missile, which is amazing. It gets Fury Attack, probably not going to use it. It gets Bullet Seed, Rock Blast. That's crazy.
Does it still get Arm Thrust?
Does it get Arm Thrust?
I know before it got Arm Thrust.
Where is it? Nope, just Isle of Armor. No, but yeah, this thing, this was actually one of the first megas I tested in this format, and yeah, you know what? It wasn't a huge factor, but at the same time, I think in a draft league sense, you're gonna be running into matchups where they can't stop this thing. Like, they don't have a whole lot of flying types on their team. They, and not to mention, even if you run into a flying type, you've got Rock Blast. It's gonna hit 5 times, base 125 power. And with 185 attack, yeah.
And also another really nice thing is you don't have to worry about sashes or those super effective berries, because
the first one hits.
Each up one of your 25 hit or 25 damage. let me just hit you with another 425
Yeah.
damage.
Yeah, and it just hits like a truck, and not to mention your partner gets to move too, so that's another thing.
Yeah.
Um, the Mega Haircross is amazing too. Ttar, I don't think we really need to go crazy into Ttar except for one thing. Mega Ttar, it's remember we were talking about Technician on the Scizor. It's the same, so it doesn't really get any better. Well, here's the thing about Ttar and Mega Ttar. Having Sandstream twice, it kind of does what like I remember I used what is it? So it switches in, gets the Sandstream. If somebody else switches in and changes the weather, the Mega now also sets the weather again without switching. So I think that's a massive deal. It gives it a 50% boost to its special attack, which is insane. Really, really good attack. Really good bulk. This thing, I don't think this thing needs to max. Yeah, it has a lot of weaknesses. Fairy, Steel, Bug, Ground, Fighting, Grass, Water. That's a lot. But I think this makes up for it. 100, 150, 120. And it also hits really hard too. And that special defense is kind of masked by the weather as well. So highest base stat total of any Mega, tied with a few of them. Do we need to go any further into Mega Ttar? Maybe.
Oh no, I 100% agree. Like everything you're saying. Well, similar situation that we were saying with Mega Charizard. Being able to decide when you set up your weather is so dominant because, and Tyranitar, I'd argue, does it better because, yeah, you get your stand up initially. You know, oh, they're going to be switching in their Torkoal or they're going to be mega their Charizard.
Yeah.
Let me just hold off on a turn and then I'll make my Tyranitar after. So you can start playing some mind games in that regards.
Yeah, I can also see like a double protect turn 1, they switch in their weather, then turn 2 you Mega, right? Like I can see that too. I think there's just a lot of fun games you can do with it. You know, and it kind of support. I've seen support Charizard. I've seen special. Sorry, not Charizard. Ttar, special Ttar, and stuff like that as well. It's. I think it's just good all around. So we won't spend too much time on it. Let's go to Mega Sceptile. Sceptile. It's more like they did it a favor and they kind of didn't. Let's go to Mega Sceptile. So Mega Sceptile had a great ability called Unburden, which doubled its speed. Unfortunately, you can't put any item on it that is gone in this format if you draft the Mega version. And when you do Mega, it loses... It's not pure grass anymore. It now is Dragon, and as we all know, Grass Dragon is 4 times weak to Ice. 4 times weaknesses usually kind of deter people from drafting it and things like that. Lightning Rod is like, why would I want Lightning Rod? This thing, first of all, it doesn't need it. It's not weak to it. It resists it already. You could utilize it, next to something that, is a water type, like a regular Gyarados that, could work, but by itself is not great. So singles is probably horrible. Its stats are okay. 145 special attack. Its coverage is not great. It's actually better on the physical side. So 110. But the Lightning Rod ability boosts its special attack, so I guess we'd work with that. Honestly, it's almost like this thing was born to be a special attacker or a physical attacker and wasn't for whatever. Look at it all. Like this is like, these are all everything that you want on a Pokemon. You get what's it called? A Drain Punch. You get Rock Slide. You get the punches, Solar Blade, so you can pair it next to someone in the sun. Things like that, X Scissor, Leaf Blade, all those fun stuff, and it just doesn't get it. So on the special side, it's got stuff. Dragon Pulse, Stab Dragon's not bad, but here's how you could make this thing work. So Discharge is a really popular attack. A lot of things get it. Not many people run it because it hits your partner. But if you get this thing a +1, this thing could wreck face. Like I think this thing could go off. 145 is really good. First of all, for the special attack stat, it's really fast, so it doesn't really need the Unburden boost. But yeah, if you give this thing a +1, I think this thing could hit pretty darn hard. And not to mention utilize next to water types or flying types or things like that. Anything to mention on the Sceptile side, or?
I was gonna say I really like even just running like with Leaf Storm and Discharge. So in that way, you're getting a really hard hit off with Leaf Storm, and you're constantly just recharging to make sure that you're not going down to like -6 special attack with Leaf Storm.
Yeah, so you would only basically lower you 1 at the end of the turn, so that could be a way you could use it. I just saw it got Dragon Dance too, so
I was looking at that too.
Yeah, and Swords Dance, it gets 110 base attack, and we were saying that this thing is basically born to be a physical attacker. You could make this work. Pair it with Earthquake and stuff like that next to Flying or Levitate Mons, things like that. You can't run Acrobatics, but you know what I mean.
You can still do like a Leaf Blade, Dragon Claw, Earthquake, Protect, or Dragon Dance instead of one of those attacks.
Yeah, I think Sceptile. I think it could be solid. I'm kind of in between value and meh.
I'm still going a little more meh. Just
Same.
Because while it is really fast,
I'd put it in a good meh column. Mm-hmm. Like, so, by the way, everybody, we're sorting left to right here. So if you're looking who's the best in the row, it's probably on the left side. We'll try our best. Let us know in the comments you disagree. In the end, we don't care, but we do want to hear what you think. So see if we're wrong. Blaziken. Man, we got so many left. We got to fly. My wife wants dinner too. Mega Blaziken. This thing can hit on the special and physical side. I think this thing is really good. What do you think?
I think that while it's very good in singles, I think the main issue with the doubles is I don't think it gets as much coverage as you'd like for a Mega Pokemon.
Yeah, and its speed doesn't go up great unless you have Protect on it, and maybe like a Protect coaching, things like that, and then it can hit with its 160.
Great.
Yeah, I think one of the benefits of this format, you can safely attack into a Mega Pokemon because you already know what the ability is because it only has one. If it's already Mega, obviously if it's not, you have to, is he going to Mega, is he not? But it's, what item it has. And I think finding out information over the course of a match in a best of 3 like we do is massive. You get the information. Some people get better as the match goes on. Some people get worse, because they can't adapt. But the better players, they learn and they find out and they get better. So knowing what one of your 6 has, I can see some teams not bringing in their Mega some weeks, just for the versatility of the unknown. It's just like, oh wow, he didn't bring it, so now I have to, what items does he have on it, right? Like I have no idea. So yeah, that's I think it's just so frail, right? And its speed is just meh. Like you have to run Protect on it, so it's not a safe attack into. But yeah, I don't know. It's Blaziken. Everybody knows what Blaziken does. It gets coaching, it gets crazy fighting and fire attacks. But the bonus about this thing is it gets special attacks too. 130. You can run Flamethrower, Heat Wave, stuff like that. Yeah, I think this thing could wreck face too. But
a little VGC history lesson. Back in 2015, Blaziken was ran quite a bit as a Landorus Incarnate check with Hidden Power Ice. You'd Protect turn 1.
Oh, Hidden Power.
And yeah, so with the loss of Hidden Power, I think that it lost a lot of its versatility.
A lot of Pokemon got worse because they're missing that coverage, right?
Yeah.
But the bonus about Draft League is most things can work because as long as it has the right support, it can work. So you're not running into a Lando I or a Lando T every week. That's what I love about Draft League. You're not running into a Rillaboom every week. So my Lodic might work really well. A Rotom Wash might work really well. Like things that have one, Achilles heel. In Draft League, it's just not there every week. One week you'll run into it, poor man's versions. So Blaziken, I probably put it. It's 160.
Put it in meh.
It's 160. It's so hard to let this go.
I'd put it slightly. Yeah, I'd put it there.
Yeah, I think some people might be yelling at their screen right now, but I don't care. Make it work. Prove us wrong.
Doubles.
One thing I want to see is us proved wrong. This is all new to us too. We're just kind of going with a little bit of research. We've looked into a lot of these things, and hey, we could miss something. So again, let us know. Most people are in the league, so just PM me in Discord, I guess. I don't know. Yellow Kyogre, this is his list. Mega Swampert. Mega Swampert, I think gets better. Mega Swampert is really good. It gets Swift Swim. So Mega Swampert has a really good attack stat, gets really good support moves like Icy Wind, Wide Guard, things like that, and it hits pretty hard. So let me just throw this up here to see the base stats. We got to fly. We're going on quite a while here. Yeah, Swift Swim, we got 150 attack. Its special attack is respectable. Its defenses are pretty good. You double the speed, now it's basically perfect, right? So I can see this paired with like a Politoed. Pelipper is a poor man's Politoed, but Pelipper works too with Hurricane. Only one
Or
weakness.
even just I was gonna say, and even if you just have like a Max Geyser beside it, it's
Yeah.
still gonna be solid.
Yeah. Have a fast like a Kingdra or something like that. It's not quite fast enough, but like a Barraskewda or something like that, or better yet, you prankster Rain Dance with say a Sableye or something like that, or a Tornadus or something. This thing can go off, right? And you save your max for the back, right? I see a lot of guys, they just max so early in games, and the guys just stall, and then so this is just a one way you can do some decent damage without maxing. So I'm curious to see how everybody kind of plays this out. So I would throw this in the solid pick tier.
Yeah.
Like I'd say it's pretty solid. Like Wide Guard is really good against like heat waves and expanding forces and things like that. I'd probably put this maybe in front of Gyarados. I don't know. Where would you throw this?
I'd say right behind Gyarados.
You have the hots for Gyarados, don't you?
Oh yeah, I have the hots for Gyarados, especially after practicing with it and seeing how it performed in 2014 on the Pachirisu team.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I have a special place in my heart for it.
Pachirisu. Wait for that thing to come back. Mega Gardevoir, I'm just gonna throw this top tier. I'm not even asking.
Okay.
Mega Gardevoir, the one thing that Gardevoir struggled with on just the regular non-mega form was its defense, but its speed. 80 doesn't fit in a fast mode, doesn't fit in a slow mode, can't quite get slow enough, even with like maybe Iron Ball or something like that. But Mega Gardevoir takes care of that. Now it's base 100 speed. Now it's respectable. Now it can work. And 165 special attack, access to like moves like D-Gleam, Expanding Force, Moonblast, things like that. Its coverage is great. Its support is great. It gets. I'm not even going to go through the moves because it gets everything. Gardevoir and Gallade.
Pixelate too, with that boosted Hyper Voice.
Yeah, Hyper Voice as well. Yeah. So it again, like we mentioned with the Aerialate before, it gets the 20% boost on top of the stab boost from Fairy. So it does actually more than a stab Hyper Voice from a normal type. Normally it does 20% more. So with 165 base special attack, not many things can stop that. So I would just throw this right in the top tier. Yeah, I would put Alakazam maybe above it because it's faster and it's a little stronger. Defensively, it's about the same, but yeah, I'd put the Alakazam and the Gengar slightly higher than it, but it's still very, very good. Sableye gets much worse. Much worse. Prankster was amazing, and it replaced it with Magic Bounce. I can see someone drafting this thing, throwing the stone on it like it's supposed to have the Mega Stone, and just keep not Mega Evolving it. I can see that. Prankster Sableye. What's that?
Does Sableye get Trick Room?
No, it doesn't. Yeah, exactly.
If it got Trick Room, then I'd be able to see it as a solid Trick Room setter with Magic Bounce. So you don't have to worry about Taunt or anything like that.
Exactly, but unfortunately, it just doesn't. Like, show us in the comments if there's anything that you guys see Sableye doing. Prankster's just so good. No switcheroo stuff because you got the stone on there, but still Prankster Taunt, Fake Out, Prankster, everything else. Quash is an amazing move, most underused move in Pokemon, I think, and one of the best. So yeah, I'd throw it in the nah column. Don't draft it. We're telling you, don't draft it. This will stay, no matter how many things we throw in this column, this thing will stay as far to the right as possible. There's not a whole lot worse than this. Just when it's let's just look at it, whatever. Sableye. But here's the thing, like its defenses are decent, and it's slow, and like maybe a Trick Room mode, I don't know, it just doesn't hit hard. It just
like you need some Calm Minds to really get it going.
Like Prankster goes first. Why would you mess with that? And it doesn't really do any damage. Like I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Just don't draft it. Simple as that. Like, I'll tell you what I really think. Mega Mawile. I'm gonna throw this in the value pick column. Intimidate when it switches in as a regular Mawile, and then it gets access to huge power.
I was gonna say, I think that's a little low for Mawile.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I feel like easily better than Gyarados. I'd either put it high solid pick or low top tier, personally.
Oh, so I guess more people know of it than than I think. Yeah,
Oh.
its defenses are really good, and I remember looking at this thing with double attack. And by the way, just so people don't know, if they know or don't know, huge power, pure power. They do the same thing. They double your attack stat. It does not make your base 210. It's a lot different. So if you go into the Showdown app or the website, and you make a Mawile and max its attack out, look at the number on the right. It's not the base. It's actually the end total, because there's natures, there's EV points, there's so many things that affect it. So with pure power, it doubles it. So you can actually run no attack investment whatsoever, and you could still get over 200, which is equivalent to a max base 130 attack Pokemon. Max base 130 in Adamant, like Positive Nature, Adamant Brave, things like that. It gets to 200 if it's a base 130 attack Pokemon. This thing doesn't have to run any attack EVs whatsoever, nor the nature, and it still gets over 200. That's ridiculous. So let's fly here. Mega Manectric, I'm going to throw this in the value pick.
Yeah, it has good support options. Intimidate. It's all right.
Yeah, you know what? Let's maybe we should do a second video, actually. Why don't we just do that? Yeah, we'll throw this in the value. Why don't we just end the video here? We've got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, we got 13 more. We're about at the halfway mark. So you know what? We're already at 56 minutes or whatever it is for the video. We're gonna double this. So why don't we end this here? I'll leave this open. We'll make another video. We'll continue this. We'll have Kyogre back to make it another one. And we don't want to keep you guys here forever. So, yeah. This is just... I think everybody is curious to think what works, what doesn't, how it works, how the abilities work, and things like that. So, yeah. So, for the sake of time, thank you, Kyogre. We'll probably release this in a two-part segment. Don't know when the second one's going to come out, but maybe we'll do one now and then one near the end of the playoffs and go from there. But thank you again for joining me. I talk a lot. I'm used to doing these by myself. Yeah, I'm glad you could share what you knew about some older formats and stuff like that, 2015, 16, 17, things like that. So that's really good. I just kind of go with my little brain and looking up Pokemon DB on the left here. So that'll be it. Signing off, guys. Thank you again for watching. Like, subscribe. I don't really care if you do or don't. Like the video, dislike the video. I don't really care either. We don't make any money on this anyway. For the algorithm, as everybody likes to say, help the algorithm. Yeah, the YouTube algorithm. I don't care. Watch it, don't watch it, whatever. It's Pokemon information. Enjoy. Good luck in the playoffs, everybody that is playing. Good luck, everybody prepping for next season. And if you have any questions, throw it in the chat, comments, talk to us in Discord, and we'll see you on the field.
Peace.
Peace, guys.
WPL, we ain't taking any L's. Yeah, the only thing we taking is this championship belt. 8 seasons, who's the